You have to understand something before you can even begin to work hard on yourself, before you can build the life you want. You need to start with your mind. Everything, your success, your failures, your habits, your ability to stay disciplined, every single thing is rooted in how you think. Your mindset is either your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy. And the truth is, most people are completely unaware of how much control they actually have over it. People think hard work starts with action. It doesn't. It starts with belief. If you don't believe you're capable of more, why would you push yourself? If you don't believe effort leads to results, why would you even try? That's why the first battle is always internal. The first step is rewiring the way you see yourself, the way you see struggle, the way you see failure. Most people walk through life with a script someone else wrote for them, what their parents said they could be, what society told them was possible, what their past mistakes convinced them they'd never escape from. But none of that is real unless you accept it. The mind is an incredible tool, but it will work against you if you don't take control of it. Now, this isn't some feel-good, empty motivational talk. It's not just about thinking positive. It's about training your mind like a warrior sharpens a blade. You have to become relentless in rejecting weakness. Every time your mind tells you, I can't, you challenge it. Every time it says, this is too hard, you prove it wrong. This is how you build resilience. This is how you stop being at the mercy of your emotions. Because let's be honest, your feelings will betray you. There will be days when you don't feel like getting up early, don't feel like working out, don't feel like putting in extra effort. And if you let those feelings dictate your actions, you lose every single time. But so something interesting about the mind, it adapts to whatever you feed it. If you constantly give in to comfort, your mind learns to seek it. If you constantly chase discipline, your mind learns to embrace it. And over time, what once felt impossible becomes second nature. That's why real progress starts when you stop looking for shortcuts and start embracing struggle as a necessary part of growth. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have achieved greatness. Do you think they avoided hardship? No, they walked straight into it. They understood that adversity isn't an obstacle, it's a requirement. The strongest minds weren't built in comfort, they were forged in difficulty, in sacrifice, in overcoming resistance. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the more you realize you can handle, and that realization changes everything. Because here's the truth, most people don't even come close to their potential, not because they aren't capable, but because they refuse to demand more from themselves. They settle. They let fear, doubt, and excuses dictate their actions. But you don't have to be one of them. You can decide right now that you're going to be the kind of person who takes control of their mind, who disciplines their thoughts, who refuses to let weakness win. And when you do that, when you truly commit to reshaping your mindset, something incredible happens. You stop seeing failure as something to be avoided. You stop seeing challenges as reasons to quit. You start welcoming them. Because you understand that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger. And once that shift happens, once you realize that struggle is not your enemy but your greatest ally, nothing can stop you. Most people wait for motivation. They wait to feel ready. But readiness is an illusion. You don't wait to feel motivated. You train yourself to act regardless of how you feel. You show up, you do the work, you push through discomfort, and eventually your mind adapts. It stops resisting and starts reinforcing your discipline. And before you know it, you've built the kind of mental toughness that most people will never have because they weren't willing to earn it. So ask yourself, are you going to be the kind of person who lets life happen to them? Or are you going to be the kind of person who decides, who chooses, who takes control? Because the hard truth is this: no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you discipline, resilience, or success. You have to build it, you have to fight for it, and it all starts with how you think. You master your mind and you master your life. That's the way forward. That's how you work hard on yourself. If you don't know where you're going, how can you possibly expect to get there? Most people walk through life without a clear sense of direction. They have vague hopes, fleeting desires, maybe even some half-formed dreams, but they never sit down and define with absolute clarity what they want. And because of that, they drift. They work hard at things that don't matter. They chase distractions instead of purpose. They get caught in cycles of effort without progress, frustration without fulfillment. The first step in building a life worth living is knowing exactly what you're aiming at. You need a goal, a real goal, something tangible, something specific. I want to be successful is not a goal. I want to get in shape is not a goal. Those are ideas, and ideas without structure go nowhere. A goal is something you can measure, something you can track, something you can wake up every day and work toward with precision. You want to get in shape? Define it. I will lose 20 pounds in 6 months. You want success? Be specific. I will build a business that generates 6 figures a year within 3 years. When your goal is clear, your actions have purpose. But setting the goal isn't enough. Anyone can do that. What separates the people who achieve their goals from the people who stay stuck in the same place year after year is commitment. Real, unwavering commitment. Most people quit the moment things get hard. The moment they don't see immediate results, they start questioning themselves. They lose focus. They make excuses. They tell themselves they'll try again later. That's not commitment. That's wishful thinking. Commitment means showing up when you don't feel like it. It means staying on course even when the excitement wears off, even when progress is slow, even when every part of you is screaming to take the easy way out. Because there will be days, many days, when quitting feels like the logical choice. You'll hit obstacles, you'll experience setbacks. People will doubt you, you'll doubt yourself. And in those moments, the only thing that will keep you moving forward is the decision you made at the start, the decision to commit no matter what. Discipline is the bridge between setting a goal and achieving it. It's the ability to stay locked in day after day without needing constant validation. And the best way to build discipline, stop relying on motivation. Motivation is a great spark, but it's unreliable. It comes and goes. If you wait to feel motivated before you act, you'll never build momentum. What you need instead is a system, habits, routines, structures that force you to make progress whether you feel like it or not. Look at the most successful people in any field, athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. They all have one thing in common. They don't negotiate with themselves. They don't wake up and ask, do I feel like working today? They wake up and execute the plan. They follow the schedule. They train when they're tired. They work when they'd rather relax. That's what separates them from everyone else. And let's be honest, most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they lack consistency. They start strong, but then they let distractions creep in. They let emotions dictate their actions. They tell themselves they'll get back on track next week, next month, next year. But every time they break their commitment, they weaken their ability to follow through. Success isn't about occasional bursts of effort. It's about sustained effort over time. It's about stacking small wins day after day until they compound into something extraordinary. And here's the thing, if you don't commit to your own goals, life will find a way to assign you a path by default. You'll spend your energy building someone else's dream instead of your own. You'll wake up 5, 10, 20 years from now and wonder where the time went, why you never did the things you said you were going to do. Regret is the cost of inaction. And that's a price you don't want to pay. So ask yourself, what do you want? Not just in some vague, distant sense, but in real, concrete terms. What do you want your life to look like in a year, in 5 years, in 10? Define it. Write it down. And then commit. Not half-heartedly, not if things go smoothly, but fully. Decide right now that no matter how long it takes, no matter what obstacles come up, you will stay on course. You will do the work. You will follow through. Because at the end of the day, success is simple. Not easy, but simple. You set a goal, you create a plan, and then you execute relentlessly until you get there. That's how you move forward. That's how you break free from mediocrity. That's how you build a life that you can look back on without regret. Most people think success is about talent, about intelligence, about having the right opportunities handed to them. But none of that means anything if you don't have discipline. Discipline is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It's the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's what keeps you on track when motivation fades, when obstacles arise, when everything in you wants to give up. The truth is, discipline isn't some magical trait you're born with. It's a skill. And like any skill, it's something you build through repetition. Every time you choose to push forward when it would be easier to quit, every time you stick to your commitments when distractions try to pull you away, you strengthen that skill. And the more you train it, the stronger it gets. But the opposite is also true. Every time you break a promise to yourself, every time you make an excuse, every time you take the easy way out, you weaken that skill. And before you know it, you've conditioned yourself to accept mediocrity. The key to discipline isn't willpower. Willpower is finite. It runs out. If you rely on willpower alone, you'll fail. What you need instead are habits, systems, routines that automate discipline so that doing the right thing isn't a choice. It's just what you do. Because the reality is, most of your life is shaped by habits. The things you do repeatedly every single day are what determine your results. If you have good habits, success becomes inevitable. If you have bad habits, failure does too. And here's the challenge. Building good habits is hard. Breaking bad ones is even harder. It's not enough to just try harder. You have to engineer your environment in a way that supports discipline. You have to remove temptation, create structure, make it easier to stay on track than to fall off. If you want to stop wasting time on your phone, don't just tell yourself you'll use it less. Delete the apps that distract you. Put it in another room while you work. If you want to wake up early, don't just set an alarm. Have a reason to get up, something that forces you out of bed before your excuses can take over. And you need to start small. Too many people try to overhaul their entire lives overnight, and then they wonder why they fail. Real change doesn't happen in one big leap. It happens in the tiny choices you make every single day. It happens when you choose to work out even when you're tired, when you choose to read instead of scroll through social media, when you choose to push yourself just a little further than you did yesterday. Small, consistent effort, that's what builds momentum. That's what compounds over time into massive transformation. But here's the catch. There will be days when you slip up. There will be days when you fall short. And this is where most people go wrong. They think one mistake means failure. They let one bad day turn into a bad week, a bad month, a complete collapse of everything they were working toward. That's not discipline. That's perfectionism disguised as effort. The truth is, discipline isn't about never failing. It's about never allowing failure to define you. When you mess up, you acknowledge it, you learn from it, and you get back on track immediately. No self-pity, no waiting until Monday to start fresh, just a relentless commitment to moving forward. And if you're struggling, if discipline feels impossible for you right now, ask yourself why. Because there's a reason. Maybe you've surrounded yourself with the wrong influences. Maybe your environment is working against you. Maybe you've conditioned yourself over years to seek comfort instead of challenge. But whatever it is, you can change it. You are not stuck. You are not doomed to be undisciplined for the rest of your life. You can take control, and it starts with one simple decision. The decision to stop negotiating with yourself, because that's what it comes down to. The people who achieve their goals, the people who build extraordinary lives, they don't give themselves the option to fail. They don't wake up and wonder if they should do the hard thing. They just do it. They don't allow their emotions to dictate their actions. They don't wait to feel like it. They operate on principle, not impulse. And that is the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. You have to decide what kind of person you're going to be. Are you going to be the kind of person who gives in to weakness, who makes excuses, who lets distractions and laziness control their life? Or are you going to be the kind of person who demands more from themselves? Because every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. And at the end of the day, discipline is not about punishment. It's about freedom. The freedom to wake up every day knowing you're in control of your own destiny. The freedom to look in the mirror and respect the person looking back at you. The freedom to build a life that you're proud of. And that's something worth fighting for. If you want to build a life that means something, if you want to be the kind of person who achieves real success, you have to take your own growth seriously. And that means making a conscious, deliberate investment in yourself every single day. Because here's the truth. If you're not growing, you're declining. There's no standing still. You're either becoming stronger, smarter, more capable, or you're letting time slip away while the world moves forward without you. Most people don't think like this. They assume they'll naturally improve over time, that life experience alone will make them wiser, more skilled, more disciplined. But that's not how it works. Growth isn't automatic, it's intentional. You don't just wake up one day better than you were yesterday. You have to do the work. You have to expose yourself to new ideas, challenge yourself with difficult tasks, push yourself beyond what's comfortable. And if you don't, you stay in the same routine, surround yourself with the same influences, think the same thoughts, then you're not growing, you're stagnating. And stagnation is dangerous because the world doesn't wait for you to catch up. It keeps moving. The opportunities that exist today won't be there forever. The skills that are valuable now won't be valuable in 5 years. If you're not actively improving yourself, learning, adapting, evolving, then eventually you're going to realize that life has passed you by. And when that happens, it won't be because you weren't smart enough or talented enough. It will be because you didn't take your own potential seriously enough to develop it. So how do you invest in yourself? First, you have to become obsessed with learning. You need to treat knowledge like a tool, like a weapon, something that sharpens your mind and expands your ability to navigate the world. Read books, not just for entertainment, but to challenge your thinking. Read history, so you understand how the world works. Read philosophy, so you learn how to think critically. Read biographies of great people, so you see the patterns of success, the struggles they endured, the principles they followed. And don't just read, apply what you learn. Information is useless without action. Too many people consume endless content, watch videos, listen to podcasts, but never actually implement anything. They mistake the act of learning for the act of doing. But the only knowledge that matters is the knowledge that changes your behavior. If something resonates with you, use it, test it, see what happens when you apply it in your own life. That's how you turn passive learning into real growth. The second thing you need to do is surround yourself with the right people, because whether you realize it or not, the people you spend time with are shaping you every single day. If you surround yourself with people who complain, who settle, who make excuses, then guess what? You'll start doing the same. But if you surround yourself with people who are disciplined, ambitious, focused, people who demand more from themselves, then you will rise to that level. Their mindset will influence yours. Their habits will rub off on you. That's why the fastest way to elevate your life is to elevate your environment. And don't just look for people who make you feel comfortable. Seek out those who challenge you. Find mentors, coaches, colleagues, people who will push you to be better, people who will call you out when you're being lazy, who won't let you settle for mediocrity. Because growth isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. If you're always the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. The third thing you need to do is develop yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally, because personal growth isn't just about acquiring knowledge. It's about becoming the strongest, most capable version of yourself. That means training your body. Your physical health affects everything, your energy, your discipline, your ability to think clearly. If you neglect it, you will never perform at your highest level. And the same goes for your mental and emotional health. If you don't take control of your thoughts, if you don't build emotional resilience, if you don't learn how to handle stress and adversity, then it doesn't matter how smart or talented you are, you will crack under pressure. And pressure is inevitable. Life will test you. It will push you to your limits. And when that happens, you will fall to the level of your preparation. The stronger you are, the more capable you are, the more you've invested in yourself, the better you'll handle those moments. That's why personal growth isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the foundation for everything else. But here's the catch. You can't just invest in yourself once and be done. This is a lifelong process. There is no finish line. The moment you think you've made it, the moment you stop learning, stop pushing yourself, stop striving to be better, that's the moment you start declining. Growth has to become a way of life. Something you commit to, not just when it's convenient, but every single day. Because in the end, the people who achieve the most, who leave the biggest impact, who build lives they're truly proud of, are the ones who never stop improving. They never stop learning. They never stop challenging themselves. And that's the kind of person you need to be. Because if you're not growing, you're falling behind. And if you're falling behind, then what are you really doing with your life? Comfort is seductive. It lulls you into a state of complacency, whispers in your ear that you've done enough, that you don't need to push any further. But the truth is, everything you want, everything that will make your life meaningful, fulfilling, and worth living exists outside of that comfort zone. Growth does not happen when you play it safe. Strength is not built by avoiding difficulty. The person you are meant to become will only emerge when you are willing to step beyond what is familiar and embrace the struggle that lies ahead. Most people avoid discomfort at all costs. They shy away from challenges because challenges come with the risk of failure, and failure is painful. But avoiding discomfort doesn't protect you, it weakens you. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you reinforce the idea that you're not capable of more. You shrink, you become smaller than you were meant to be. And before you know it, you've built a life that is far beneath your potential, all because you were afraid to take a step into the unknown. The only way to break free from that cycle is to do the thing you fear, to deliberately seek out challenges that stretch you, that force you to dig deeper, to endure, to adapt. This is where real confidence is built, not in comfort, but in proving to yourself time and time again that you are stronger than your limitations. The moment you face resistance, that is the exact moment you need to push forward. Because resistance is not a signal to stop. It's a sign that you're on the right path. There is a reason why the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, the most capable people in the world, all of them have one thing in common. They willingly put themselves in difficult situations. They don't wait for life to test them. They seek out the test. They step into discomfort on purpose over and over again because they understand that this is the price of greatness. They don't settle for what is easy. They train their minds and bodies to withstand pressure so that when real challenges arise, they are ready. And that is exactly what you must do. You must put yourself in situations that demand more from you. You must do the things that scare you. You must pursue goals that seem just out of reach and work relentlessly until they are within your grasp. That is how you transform. That is how you break past the version of yourself that is too afraid, too uncertain, too unwilling to risk failure. Because the greatest tragedy is not failing, it's never trying. It's never knowing what you could have become because you refused to push yourself hard enough to find out. If you want a life that means something, then you must step into discomfort over and over again until the limits you once feared no longer exist. Hard work is the foundation of everything meaningful. Talent without effort is wasted potential. Intelligence without discipline leads nowhere. It's not enough to dream, to plan, to wish for a better life. You have to put in the work day after day, whether you feel like it or not. There are no shortcuts, no easy paths, just the relentless pursuit of something greater. The world doesn't reward excuses, it rewards action. If you want to build a life of substance, commit to working harder than you ever thought possible. Because in the end, the work you put in will define the person you become. Life does not reward those who wait for the perfect moment, nor does it elevate those who remain trapped in comfort and complacency. It belongs to those who are willing to fight for their own growth, who set clear goals and commit to them, who master discipline and build the habits that shape success. It belongs to those who invest in themselves relentlessly, push beyond their limits, and hold themselves to the highest standard of work ethic. The path forward is not easy, but that is exactly why it's worth it. The only question that remains is whether you are willing to walk it.